What is up, everyone? I wanted to share with you my latest iteration of a max damage berserk clutch build that I've been running. And at first sight, you might think, oh, this has too low of health, 90,000. But honestly, 90,000 is completely doable with clutch. And it really depends on the teammates that you play the raid with. Now, if you have good teammates, you can definitely get away with 90,000. Shit, people get away with 90,000 and run berserk with no clutch. Um, but I've just gradually been dropping my health and getting more damage. And I just recently got this new mask from John Wick. He gave me this Dars Carrion. He hooked it up with this mask, and I rolled the damage to elites to 47. And this helped me finish off this version of the build. So it's similar to my other clutch build that I have. It only has 2 blues, unfortunately. And it's not quite maxed out on crit chance. So there's still room for improvement here. I've only got 54.5 crit chance. I can gain half a crit on my knee pads when I find some 9 crit knee pads. That'll put me to 55, but I'll still be short 5 crit. The nice thing about this build is it's 29.5 weapon damage. I'm going to call it 55 crit chance, 47 crit damage, 79% headshot damage, and a big ol' 97 damage to elites. To have 97 damage to elites and, I'm going to call it 80. I'm going to just call it 100 damage to elites and 80 headshot damage with 55 crit chance is pretty impressive while maintaining almost 30,000 weapon damage. Come Tuesday when the patch hits, it will be in the 30,000s because my Eagle Bearer will then be max rolled. But the way I got this was obviously an Eagle Bearer. If you don't have the Eagle Bearer, it still works. What you need to do is run a P416. I recommend one with Strained, like this one here, 24.7k. Strained and Extra are the talents that I prefer on a P416. And then you pair that up with either a Chatterbox for your rate of fire or a Nemesis rifle. If you run the Nemesis rifle, make sure you run the C79 scope. It's considered a zoom scope, so you gain 25% headshot damage when you run that. And it's very, very similar in damage output than an Eagle Bearer. The reason I don't really prefer it is because the accuracy groupings, the shot groupings with the P416 are much lower than the Eagle Bearer, even though the Eagle Bearer has a lot more instability with its recoil. And the Chatterbox combo works really good for the final fight in the raid for Razorback, because you can kill a drone and reload and have some serious DPS right there. But secondary, I run a Vector with Strained and Extra protected reload, and my other secondary, I run a double barrel. It's strictly just for the not premeditated, the in rhythm for getting my skill cooldowns back. As I showed you, the mask, it's 6.5 crit chance, 47% damage to elites. It's the first piece of my Wyvern. It's a pretty nice mask. I haven't seen any better. As far as I can still roll this to like 50% damage to elites. I might be able to get more than that if I ever found something higher. But 6.5 crit chance is really high on a mask with that much damage to elites. And it has the hard-hitting talent. Now, the Rush 72 backpack. Come Tuesday, when the new patch hits, I'm going to be crafting Rush 24s. They are superior because they give you a red mod slot, and you can still get this hard-hitting, vital, passive roll, which is best in slot for this kind of build. I'm looking for something similar here with decent weapon damage. What I really want is a lot higher crit chance. I'd like to at least have 6 to 8 crit chance. And that would be nice for this build here, because then I would be capped out. But it's got a utility slot, so it's got room for improvement. The Rush 24s always roll with a red mod slot. Same thing with the Nitro. My Nitro has a red mod slot, but this one's just not quite cutting it. And we will be able to craft those Gear Score 500 coming soon and be able to recalibrate the attributes to and from them. The main thing that changed on this build is this chest. This is what I changed to gain so much more damage than my others. This is 23.2 health, 24% headshot damage, and 5.5 weapon damage with Berserk, hard hitting, and a red mod slot. This is a really nice chest. Unfortunately, the weapon damage is a little low, but the headshot damage is really high. and you can't get nowhere near that amount of like, you know, other modifiers as headshot damage. So if you are hitting headshots, headshot damage on your chest is definitely a good way to go. My old chest that I used to run is a 12.5 crit chance, 5.5 weapon damage, 50,000 health chest. And I gain a lot of health by running that, but then I have 7 crit chance more than I need when I run the mask. So when I run this chest, I run a blue mask, and I have like 136,000 health total. That's my typical build. Gloves, climbing gloves, 12% assault rifle, clutch with a red mod slot. You will be able to craft these if you don't have a pair already. You can also craft a pair without clutch and get, you know, either weapon damage, damage to elites, or headshot damage here. And those will be one of the nice new ones to craft. Holster, we're running a 16 crit chance, hard hitting, with an offensive mod slot. If I want to swap it out, I have a 16 crit chance precise with a offensive mod slot, and that would give me more headshot damage versus damage to elites, but currently I'm running the damage to elites there. And the knee pads, still trying to get a 9% knee pad to drop, so I can roll that to 9. Hard hitting with the offensive mod slot, pretty much the best you can really get there. And as far as DPS, this thing does some serious DPS. Let me just start this out here. I've been able to break 4 million DPS with this, but it usually averages about 3.7 million. That's without Berserk. So that's really impressive amounts of DPS here. I am going to start it with my buff up. So here we go. Ooh, I scuffed that one. I thought I killed it, but I didn't. Redo! Scuffed build video. Alright, here we go. Unfortunately, I can't crit when it's the point blank ones. This is my best bet for good DPS, is that range. You'll notice when it's that far away, I definitely drop a bit because I missed some shots. But we're about to break 4 million DPS here. We just did. And that's pretty impressive. 4.16 million DPS without Berserk. That is crazy. That is really crazy amounts of damage. With Berserk, I don't even know what this would be at. Let's proc the Eagle Bearer real quick. But as you can see, that the damage output on this is just insane. 4 million DPS. It usually averages out to about 3.7 for me if I just keep going at all ranges. But it can get higher. It can be lower. It depends on how many shots you miss. Like I just scuffed it right there. But yeah, really happy with this build. If you guys want to check out my other builds, other variations, I've got this top-notch 20 blue Willis Gaming build, I call it. I've got a video for that. I forgot to add in at the very end of that video that it was dedicated to Willis Gaming and to 100% not take the build serious and do not actually build the build unless you're just trying to meme around with some teammates or something. Because this build is pure trash. This build, if you watched my video, it doesn't actually have any working talents. It runs Berserk with an LMG, which doesn't work in the first place. It runs Berserk with, 20 blues, which doesn't work in the second place. It runs Entrenched, which only works with marksman rifles or rifles, which I don't have. It runs, Close and Personal, which only works with 5 or more reds. And Spike, which works with 5 or more yellows. So the build video was a complete meme, and some people took it serious and thought that I actually meant it was good. It has an unbelievably low amount of only 255,000 armor while having 20 blues. I don't know how that's possible, but yeah, don't take that build serious. But it is a good video if you want to laugh. It's pretty funny. It's dedicated to Willis Gaming and his great builds that he produces. I was hoping he was going to copy it and remake his own version, but he didn't. Probably because it's really hard to get 20 blues. Like, this is not easy to do. I collected this over, 15,000 items. It took me to get a 20 blue build. But I also got some other good builds up on the YouTubes. This is my normal clutch build. You can check it out. 136,000 health. max crit. It's real nice. Not quite the amount of damage, but it's got more survivability. This is what I run if I'm running with people that aren't, you know, really good at the raid with really good gear and really good strategies. I'll run this one. If I've got a full team of tryhards, I'll run my 90k build and it's just fine. But it's definitely noticeable when I run with someone who kind of, you know, is lacking. So thank you guys so much. Don't forget to check me out live. I stream on Twitch TV. It's Twitch TV/Inigo Montoya. And don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube. I'll see you guys around.